My dad had always told me that his grandfather had died in the First World War. And so a couple of years ago we were going on holiday, we were going on a big trip from England across to Switzerland. We went and found his grave in one of the war grave cemeteries in the Somme with my two sons as well. So if I'm his great-granddaughter, they'd be his great-great-grandsons.
I've bought in brass boxes which contained chocolates sent out to the troops in Christmas 1914. One of them was sent out to my grandfather on my father's side, and the other, I think, an uncle. They were always proudly displayed on the mantelpiece at my grandparents' home and then in my parents' home, and now it's something I wanted for my home. So the things which do mean quite a lot to me, and I hope that I can pass them on to my children.
My name is Robbie and
my name is Francesca, and here we have a photo album from our great-great-grandfather's journey in the World War I.
The pictures that will probably stick in my mind are several pictures of his friends who died in the war.
Well, there's also one of the pictures that's one of the old tanks. It was just interesting because I've never really seen a proper tank that was probably used in the war.
Our story concerns my grandmother's uncle. I grew up in the 1960s hearing tales of her uncle who went to war in 1914 and didn't come back. He was recalled in 1914 at the outbreak of war and went across to France and then into Belgium to Mons, and he was killed at the Battle of Mons. I was across on 23rd of August for the centenary of his death and visited the battlefield and also the cemetery.
My grandfather, Harry, I have a photograph of him on my stairs wearing his sergeant's stripes and his uniform. He was in the Royal Army Service Corps. He fought at the Battle of Passchendaele in 1917. He spent 3 days in a shell hole, and I do remember that he had chronic arthritis, and the family story goes that that was a direct result of spending 3 days in mud and water.
My great-great-grandfather, Manta Singh, fought as part of the 15th Ludhiana Sikh Regiment in World War I at the Battle of Neuchâtel. He was treated and died in the military hospitals in Brighton in 1950.
I'm Muriel Mills, and my dad was called Wilson Hay. He was in World War I, joined up before he was 17. Well, first of all, he trained at Seaford, which is not far from Brighton, I believe, and then they were shipped across to Belgium and served right through the entire war to the end.
My great-uncle Jimmy, James Davidson, he seemed to think he went over the top of the Somme wearing a kilt, but he never spoke about it until he was 96 years old, just before he died. As far as we know, the butt of his rifle was taken away by a shell, that's what he said, and he spent some of the war, or most of the war, in a prisoner of war camp where he lost half his stomach due to starvation, and he kept himself very fit after that and lived to 96.
My name's Robert Hugh Wrightson, and I'm talking about my great uncle. His name was Hugo Evans Armitage. He survived the war, and I have in my possession this wonderful photograph of him in his full uniform, which was taken at a place called Etaples. I also have his tobacco tin, which luckily he inscribed with his name, number and regiment on the inside of the lid, which lends it great provenance. and I'm very proud of it.